Hi there, Garrett Blevins here with an exciting announcement. My mind is now a machine. Artificial intelligence for powerlifting coaching is here. Well, what does this mean? Well, artificial intelligence is a form of computer software able to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence. AI powerlifting coaching is just that, a process that replaces the coach with a system that makes the same decisions a coach would given the same input. So how is this possible? Well, for the past 3 years, I've worked with hundreds of clients, and I have been learning as much as I can about every form of powerlifting program that I have access to. I've looked at juggernaut training systems, reactive training systems, percentage-based programs, and now working with the Russian Shaco. I have tried to get as much information about the different ways of programming and condense that into a system that can work for anyone. More than that, I have taken every sort of decision and every task that I do with any client, and anytime I would do that manually, I would recreate that same process in an automated format so that based on a client's input, a client in that situation would get the same response that they would if they were getting coaching from me manually. Now, what exactly are the features of this AI program? Well, first, past progress determines progression stop. If you've been getting strong and able to retest every 8 weeks and set a new 15-pound PR in your squat, then you don't want to be set up on a 52-week cycle. You should have a cycle that's going to allow you to retest so that you know what your maxes are and so that you can then program your training to stay as close as possible to that right intensity range, getting the right amount of weight on the bar. So your past progress and how fast you've gained strength is going to dictate how long the progressions are. Also, when you fill out that initial questionnaire and you give the input to the system, it's not just going to give you some template that's prepackaged. There is no template. There is no prepackaged system that goes to you. Instead, the system is taking in information from you and making its training decisions based on that. One of the best things about this is you're going to get exercises that address your weak points. No matter how good the coach is that's made a static template, that template is not going to address your weaknesses. And let's say that coach is saying, well, most people miss their squat right about, parallel. But maybe you don't miss your squats around parallel. Maybe you miss them when you're halfway up. That's where my issue is. This system is going to change your exercise phase potentiation to deal with that weak point, strengthening muscles and reinforcing movement patterns that address that issue. It's going to be a better program than any template that is out there in existence right now for you. Next, the cycles, taking into consideration your past progress, can lead up to any meet any number of weeks away. Have you ever thought to yourself when considering template services, well, I can't use that template until I'm 12 weeks out, or maybe it's 10 weeks out, or maybe it's 16 weeks out, who knows? Or have you thought to yourself, I like that coach, but his template is 4 days per week and I want 5? If so, then you're aware of the restrictions and limitations of templates and programs that have a rigid length and frequencies. This AI system will take into account your upcoming meets, your rate of progression, and create an entire macro cycle that is going to incorporate all of that together so that you peak in the best possible way at whatever time you need to. And if you need to change that meet date after you start, you can. And if you need to change the number of days per week that you're training, you can. Anything will adjust, just like a real coach would who's working with you, that you're paying maybe $200 or $300. Instead, the AI system will do it, so you'll never have to settle for a suboptimal program. But there's more, and this is probably, I think, the coolest feature of this AI coaching. It doesn't use static volume. Instead, the volume is regulated based on your feedback. Each day when you go to the gym, you're going to answer a few simple questions about how your mental state and how your physical state is. Based on that information, when you send your logs in at the end of each block, the system will analyze your fatigue with what expected fatigue levels would be, and then it will auto-regulate the volume for the next block. Again, it hasn't created 5 or 6 or 7 blocks in advance. It is actually waiting for your feedback and the ability to analyze your log before it's going to create that next training. If you have ever wished you could know your maximum recoverable volume so that you can train to get the best results in the fastest way possible, now you can. And don't worry about under-recovering or over-recovering because it is going to dial you in block to block. Additionally, because you're sending this same log back and forth and working on it together, you're going to be able to have a macrocycle overview that's going to give you years worth of training, volume, and calendars so you can see everything that's going on at a moment's glance. Here's an example of what a macrocycle overview page might look like. You can see that there is a calendar here with a meet date highlighted. This particular client had done 2 rounds of powerlifting training that then led into a peak. You can see their volume was very low. This would have been the meet week for sure. This would have been some peaking weeks with singles. And then after that meet, their volume has come back up as they're moving into this meet that's further away. The system is going to do that for you so that you're always in the right spot, and you can go to this page to know where you're at in the progression and see all the information that you would want to gather. So, how good is it really? I mean, how smart is this thing? Let me put it this way. First, as I've explained, this system blows any static template out of the water, no matter who created it or how intricate that template is. It's just superior in every possible way. Moreover, with all its features, this system does for a client what most coaching companies charge well over $200 per month to do. In fact, for me to do this level of programming for a client, it would be almost 10 hours of upfront work getting that first macro cycle. And then it would be hours per month after that to make the adjustments. That's going to cost you quite a bit if you go to an individual coach. However, this system creates custom blocks with larger macro cycles in mind, addresses weak points, adjusts if meet dates change, changes the frequencies of days block to block as requested, alters volume based on your fatigue ratings, tracks numerous variables, and presents all of that to you in a macrocycle dashboard, among other things. There's really too many to list. This system is so smart that as I was beta testing it, it actually corrected me when I was using the system. As I was running through some of the batches of clients and looking at how things came out, I would scratch my head and be like, that's not right. And if I looked further, I would actually say, oh, that is right. Human error will be a thing of the past with AI powerlifting coaching. So, you may be asking yourself, what's the cost? Well, while this is comparable to a $200 or $300 service, because it's an AI program, the cost is way lower. It's not at all the same amount of time or difficulty to produce these sorts of custom coaching experiences. For those of you who are interested, for a limited time, I'm going to offer the entire first 4-week block at just $1. That is $1 for 4 weeks of training. There is no template out there for that price. And this isn't even a template. It's actual coaching. Every block after that will be $1 a day. And since they're 4-week blocks, that's $28. That's about 1/10 of the cost of a comparable service from a human. So only one question for you out there. Are you ready for the future of coaching? I hope that you are. Check the link in the description box below to sign up, and I hope to see you in the Skynet system soon. Blessings.